Let me give you a picture of moraine. You see this? The debris that are carried by glaciers. Okay? Glacier passed through here and it left the debris. Okay? Moraines. First known by alpine experts in Europe in the early 19th century, these strange geological features helped begin the argument over whether ice once covered the northern hemisphere. First noted means known by alpine experts. What does alpine mean? Alpine means related to mountains, okay? Especially the mountains in Switzerland. Initiate means to begin, all right? Okay, so what is this part about? This part is about the geological evidence coming from North America and Europe. In some places that don't have glaciers, there are some geological features related to glaciers, and they are over large areas of land in these continents. There are large stones sitting on an open plain. Okay? Why would they sit there? Because something must have pushed them there, right? And there are land formations like glacial moraines. These are the deposits of dirt and rock, okay, carried by glaciers. And in northern areas of Canada and Scandinavia, there are deep-cut valleys and fjords, and they are related to glacial activity. And these strange geological features were first known by alpine experts in Europe in the 19th century, and these caused the debate over whether ice once covered the northern hemisphere. Okay. All right. Other evidence for ice ages comes from ice cores, which is basically ice mass. By drilling, by making a hole deep into the ice caps in Greenland and the Arctic, scientists have found ice samples from past ages. In Greenland and the Arctic. Where is the Arctic? Arctic is the area near the North Pole. Okay. Scientists have recovered. What does that mean, recover? Recover means to get something back or find something. So where is Greenland? If you look here, Greenland is over here, and the Arctic is here. You see this? Arctic Ocean. Although it's the sea here, it's covered with ice. It's called the Arctic. So carefully studying the trapped air bubbles in this ice can let us know of the temperature, the quantity of carbon dioxide in the air, and other factors that show the general weather conditions of certain time periods. Carbon dioxide, what is that? It's a gas, right? It is produced when animals breathe out. Through an examination, through a careful study of these climatic changes, scientists have um, roughly judged that there were at least four great ice ages. There were, okay, in the Earth's history, with many smaller ones in between. Estimate needs to make an approximate judgment. The ice core records show that about 18,000 years ago there was a great cooling period. This most recent ice age, means about 18,000 years ago, all right, is often called the Little Ice Age because it was not as bad as the previous ones, not as strong as the previous ones. Okay, so what is this part about? The other evidence coming from ice cores. By making a hole into caps, ice caps in Greenland and the Arctic, scientists have found ice samples from the past, and by studying the trapped air bubbles in this ice, you can know of the temperature and the quantity of carbon dioxide in the air and other things that show what the general weather condition was like in the past. And by studying these climatic changes, scientists have approximately judged that there were at least four great ice ages in Earth's history, with many smaller ones in between. And the ice core records show that about 18,000 years ago there was a great cooling period. This is called the Little Ice Age because it was not as severe as the ones before. Right? Finally, scientists look for evidence of ice ages in fossils. Animals that preferred warmer climates moved to the south when the ice began expanding. Ice began to get big. Migrate means animals moving at a certain season from one area to another to find new feeding grounds or find a place to breed, okay? If large numbers of fossils of a species are found further south than they usually are, this may show that an ice age was happening. There are two explanations on how certain species traveled south. As to means regarding, about, right? Southward. Word has the meaning of going to that direction, going to south direction. Perhaps the animals went south, died, and were made into fossils there. Or the animals died in the north and became fossils, but then extremely large ice sheets scraped them up and carried them to more southerly regions, means more south, southerly regions, okay? Scrape them up. What does scrape mean? Scrape here means to pull with sharp objects, okay, over a surface. But unluckily, this method of deciding if and when ice ages happened depends on finding these fossils in the first place, which is not very easy. Okay, so what is this part about? This part is about looking for evidence of ice ages in fossils. Animals that favored warmer climates went south when the ice began to get big. And if large numbers of fossils of a species are found further south than they usually are, this may show that ice age was happening. There are two explanations on how the species traveled south. Perhaps the animals went south and then died and were made into fossils. Or the animals died in the north and became fossils, but ice sheets, extremely large ice sheets, scraped them and carried them south. But this method of deciding if and when ice ages happened depends on finding these fossils. But this is not very easy. So let's look at the questions. The word postulated in the passage is closest in meaning to postulate. What does that mean? By examining geological, ice core, fossil evidence, scientists have pieced together the story of the last ice age and have postulated that it was not the only one in Earth's history. That this is what they thought of an idea, right? So what is closest? Theorize is the closest, right? Consider means to think. Reject means to not agree to something. So the closest is A. Which of the sentences below best expresses the essential information in the highlighted sentence in the passage? What is the highlighted sentence? In places today that don't have glaciers, some geological features that are related to the glaciers exist over large, wide areas of land in these continents. So what best expresses the essential information in that sentence? Places on two continents that have no glaciers might have had them in small areas sometime in the past. This is generally right? But it doesn't say small areas. It said wide swaths of land, so it means wide areas. So A is not right. There are many glaciers on two separate continents, and they also used to exist in other places. No, right? It's talking about where they lack glaciers, so B is not right. There is evidence of the glaciers existing before, where there are none today on certain land masses. This is what it's saying, right? There is evidence of the glaciers existing before, where there are none today on certain land masses, on certain continents. So C is the answer, right? Without glaciers on certain areas of land, large parts of certain continents would look different than they do today. This is not what the sentence is saying, so D is not the answer. The answer is C. In paragraph 3, the author of the passage implies that past ice ages lasted roughly for about the same amount of time. It doesn't say it lasted for about the same amount of time, so it's wrong. The past ice ages were more severe in the past than the most recent ones were. This is nearly right, but it doesn't say. It says the ice ages in the past were more severe than the most recent one, not the most recent ones, just comparing to the last one, so this is wrong, okay? Had a traumatic effect on the people who lived through them. Traumatic, what does that mean? Traumatic means very shocking and upsetting, okay? So it doesn't say anything about having a traumatic effect on people who lived in that period, during that period, so C is not right. Tended to vary in the degree of their cold temperatures. Tended to, what does that mean? It means it often did that, okay? Vary means were different, okay? So they were different in the degree of their cold temperatures. Some were severe, more severe, and some were less, so D is the answer, okay?